do we say hello to the catch-up crew on Poetry Time? Is that a thing that we do? Is that a thing that we shall do? Should we do it? Robert's like, nah, fuck the catch-up crew.
They should join us. Why aren't they here?
Okay. Well, it's because I have now discovered how to splice the speaker view and the gallery view together so that on waves to the catch-up crew, I can make it so that we can show everybody waving. So I get very excited. So let's wave to the catch-up crew.
Hi, Ketchup Crew!
Hi, catch-up crew! We love you!
Hey, how you doing? All right?
Hello. Yeah. Change the sound. Actually, do I sound better on here? On here.
Oh, second one.
Second one, good. Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah. Cool.
I normally use headset, which I want to check whether it was worth it or not.
Yeah, sure. No, it sounds good. Nice and clear.
Yeah.
I also have a difficulty with my audio actually to start with. Not sure what's going on.
I think it's always good on video conferences to try. I think sometimes it can work without headsets, but I'm just used to using a headset because at work I get annoyed a colleague at work who doesn't use headsets, and it's always it's fine if anyone can, if I didn't use headset and no one complained, then I'd be fine. But if we told him your sound sounds echoey, doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
It's basically if the computer copes, right? Sometimes the computer fails at the what do you call it? The
feedback loop. Yeah.
The feedback loop, yeah. That's the trying to move that. I think that's why it fails.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think because we use Teams at work, and for some reason, Teams doesn't seem to have that issue. So whether it kind of silences everyone who isn't speaking, I mean, whereas Zoom seems to let multiple people speak at once.
Yes, I think the issue we seem to have is just I think it's just got a bad internet, bad. Oh, sorry. Oh no, right way around, Frankie.
Hi, sweetie.
Yeah, I think the issue we have is it's just got a bad computer setup, like the microphones. It's feedback. It must be like we don't really get feedback. It's just bad sound, which means it's probably trying to stop the feedback loop, but failing.
Yeah.
Or being a bit too aggressive.
Yeah.
Just talking about headphones because that's what I just accidentally connected using my normal audio, and I just wondered whether the headphones sound better. Apparently they do, so that's good to know.
Loving your new hair, Frankie. Looks fabulous.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's nice to have it tidy again.
Yeah. So tell me things. What have I missed this past week?
Monstrous Regiment.
Yeah.
Is obviously that is pretty much the only Storytime thing that's happening.
Yeah. But what's been happening with you? Where have you been? What have you been up to?
I have been here.
Aha.
So tonight I've been out for dinner with friends.
Oh yeah.
It's in Durham. We went to this place called Barrio Comida in Durham, which does tacos and cocktails. So obviously I wasn't on the cocktails, but I had some tacos and they were very, very nice. Yeah, it was good to catch up with them. What else have I been doing? I must have done something because time has passed.
Time has passed, yeah. Well, I went for a lovely walk around a sculpture garden with my mum and my sister today.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Which
wonderful
garden?
It was in Kelsall, which is kind of near Chester, if you know the area. It was nice.
Yeah, I don't know very well. That
So
sounds lovely.
it was really nice. There was a brilliant, huge metal sculpture of 2 chariot racing horses. So we got on and we did that with it. It's good. We reenacted Ben-Hur. It's great. Yeah. No, it's super sweet. So as you're just walking around, little things hidden in the forest. So we saw a few woodland fairies and things. And it's
That is really nice. That is really, really nice.
Yeah.
What a lovely, wholesome way to spend your day.
Yeah, it was lovely. And then last week, go on, sorry.
Yeah, no, go on. Last
week met up with a friend and we had a lovely walk around the park. So as we stayed distant. So I was sat on a bench and she sat on the floor on like a picnic rug. And then just out of nowhere, this dog just came and just nuzzled itself up to her and just kind of pet me. So she just started stroking this dog. It was just so sweet. There was no barking, no ball. No, it just came up and said hello. It was just lovely.
That's very cute.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Hi, Bina.
Hey, Bina.
Hey, Bina.
How are you?
I'm all right. How are you doing?
Good, thank you very much. Yeah. How's your week been?
Kind of exhausting.
Oh.
It's fine. It's just like I had 2 days of being in work for staff development days. And they were like socially distanced, but also I'm really out of practice in hanging out in person with people who aren't like my actual favorite humans in the whole world. And I forgot how exhausting small talk is. I mean, I never like small talk, That's why we all do hobbies that provide a structure to our interactions, right? Like,
You mean you didn't have your book of poetry on you? You could just crack a few poems out for them.
I don't think it's the audience, you know?
Oh, no.
Very when you need her.
Yeah, one of the new student officers was talking about how she'd gone to a bachata class once and it was like weird and touchy. And I was like,
That's our thing.
I was like, it makes me so sad I can't touch people right now. She's like, I think it'd be okay if it was, you know, with a partner, like a romantic partner. And I was like, yeah, so Alan is pretty much the only person I don't do close embrace dancing with.
Yeah, I was like, so I was at dinner tonight with 3 of my like dearly beloved school friends who like aren't dancers, and yeah, kind of they were sort of asking, they were like, oh, you know, so like how have you been doing, you know, and how like have you been doing any kind of dancing things, and oh yeah, you know, it must be like, you know, it must be like weird of like not doing it, and like trying to be like weird isn't the what, like I'm dying, we're all dying, and they're like, yeah, wow, yeah, like,
Yeah,
I
there are
don't mean
3
that to sound
people at
horrible,
work who are like happy about lockdown. They're basically like, no one expects anything of me. I don't have to go out. No one gives me any pressure to do things that I don't want to do. And I'm like, this is unrelatable. Like,
So I was having a chat with a friend over in Germany, and she was telling me about a Lindy event in Bulgaria, I think. Is it Sophia Lindy Exchange? Anyway, they've got a deal going, basically. So everyone gets tested, and then they can get everyone tested within 3 minutes. This is going to be the first one they think is actually going to happen, with just like intense testing. So I don't know all the details, but it sounds like that could work maybe. And so you have to like
if you
sign a
get
disclaimer.
test returns in like 3 minutes, but the fastest I knew was like half an hour.
Okay. Well, she said 3 minutes. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
but oh god,
But then the assumption there is that you don't talk to anyone or mingle with any kind of locals when you're there, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Sorry,
Frankie.
do that. Hi, Ainsley. Can you imagine though going like, oh my god, finally off to a dance event, getting all of your stuff together, and like booking a place to stay, and like arranging, you know, and like getting there, and then like your test isn't, and you can't go in, and you can't do the event.
So when we can do dancing and being close to each other again, Alan and I are looking at going away to Skye, but that meant I spent some time today looking at accommodation in Skye, and there is a detached house that sleeps 12, and it looks incredible. And like, dance trip, tiny dance trip to Skye.
How do I get to Skye though? It sounds very, very, very north.
Get to Glasgow, and then we can probably figure it out.
Yay! Then they can stick me in a van and I'll get there.
Yeah. Robert, you've been out and about in beautiful places today. It's been nice seeing your like photo essay day.
For people not on Facebook, on my Facebook, yeah, I went up to what is it called? I didn't actually say where I went, did I? I went up to like Brecon Beacons, or just in the southern tip of Brecon Beacons State. Went to Reservoir. I got the train up to Mon-Fri and cycled. I cycled about 40 kilometers in total today.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
It
impressive.
was, although I should add a rider to that. So I live like near the sea, and that's going up towards the mountains. I got the train up to Mon-Fri, which is like the furthest you get a train to, and then cycled about 10 kilometers, which was like a few hundred feet climb to get to the reservoir, and then I cycled 30 kilometers back. So that was like all downhill.
I mean, that's a smart planning of your day, though.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it's still my legs are aching, but it's not quite. I could let gravity do a lot of the work.
That sounds amazing.
We went for a long cycle last weekend, except that I've newly got an electric bike and Gustav does not. So we went like 45 kilometers round trip, and halfway through Gustav was like, "I need to slow down. Why are you doing this to me?" But he did it to himself, and he's very happy because now he's not like, "Why are you so slow?" all the time.
That's so cute. Right. Should we have some poetry time? Yeah. We are
Get a top up of wine. I've
course.
literally just finished my glass.
Before we start as well, because I'm out of the loop, where are people? We're down in Andrada, Katie and Em.
Katie and Nick are off in the wilds somewhere. Okay. I don't know where, but I'm assured that they will come back to us one day, and hopefully it won't be too long. It's very weird not having them here.
Oh.
Hi,
Hi, Katie and Nick.
Hi, Katie and Nick. If you're watching this, we miss you. I don't know if Andra. I'm hoping that Andra M, I believe, is coming because they said that they had a couple of poems that they would like to contribute. Andrada hasn't mentioned anything, but maybe she will be along. If she isn't, and if you're watching this on the catch-up crew, Andrada, we love you too.
Hey, Andrada.
In fact, we love you all. Big hugs for the catch-up crew.
Yay, hugs.
Hugs all around. Right. Now, yes, we are small but perfectly formed tonight. And that is potentially not going to be a bad thing because I am knackered. So I will probably be not the most disappointed if this doesn't turn into a massive poetry marathon.
Fair. Oh.
It's going to. I might have to tap out and go and sleep.
Oh. Of course.
I've got, so Mike, you've got a couple of poems, Ainsley, you've got one. Bina, do you have anything that you wanted to chuck into the mix?
As usual, I probably have more than we need anyway. There's at least one Liz Berry that no one's heard before, and there's a Liz Berry that might be a repeat, but I don't think. But it was a secret. Frankie wasn't there to record anything session, so I could potentially do it again. There's Andromeda.
There's
Yay!
Andromeda.
Made it in time.
Oh, I don't know if she can hear us being excited. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Pause excitement.
Pause excitement. Andromeda, are you there? No.
Unleash the excitement! Yay! Andromeda! Yay!
Okay. We are nearly all met, and I think that M will come along when they come along, and then we will be excited about them. But I hereby declare this session of Poetry Saturday open. Bang, 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 bang. Yeah, I'm excited about tonight. I think this has the potential for some kind of unusual things and like different takes that people might bring to it. So I would maybe like to open with one, if that would be okay. Have I read? Because I've got a list of options here. Have I read Did I Miss Anything by Tom Wayman before? Shall I go for it? Yes, I shall. Okay. So this is Did I Miss Anything by Tom Wayman. Hold on. Update, go away. This is Did I Miss Anything. Nothing. When we realised you weren't here, we sat with our hands folded on our desks in silence for the full 2 hours. Everything. I gave an exam worth 40% of the grade for this term and assigned some reading due today on which I'm about to hand out a quiz worth 50%. Nothing. None of the content of this course has value or meaning. Take as many days off as you like. Any activities we undertake as a class, I assure you, will not matter either to you or me, and are without purpose. Everything. A few minutes after we began last time, a shaft of light suddenly descended, and an angel or other heavenly being appeared and revealed to us what each woman or man must do to attain divine wisdom in this life and the hereafter. This is the last time the class will meet before we disperse to bring the good news to all people on earth. Nothing. When you are not present, how could something significant occur? Everything. Contained in this classroom is a microcosm of human experience, assembled for you to query and examine and ponder. This is not the only place such an opportunity has been gathered, but it was one place. You weren't here.
So good.
Yay! I've been missing voices. Yay! Voices of people I know. Yay! Saying wonderful things as well. Yay!
Oh, Mike, you're the cutest.
You're the cutest. I don't know if I can take it. You know, when something's so cute, it makes you a bit sweaty. Oh, God. Okay, on that note, would you like to overwhelm us with cuteness more by reading a poem?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you very much. We'll go for Please, Mrs. Butler by Alan Alberg. I think that's how you say his name. Right. Please, Mrs. Butler, this boy Derek Drew keeps copying my work, miss. What can I do? Go and sit in the hall, dear. Go and sit in the sink. Take your books on the roof, my lamb. Do whatever you think. Please, Mrs. Butler, this boy Derek Drew keeps taking my rubber, miss. What shall I do? Keep it in your hand, dear. Hide it under your vest. Swallow it if you like, my love. Do what you think is best. Please, Mrs. Butler, this boy Derek Drew keeps calling me rude names, miss. What shall I do? Lock yourself in a cupboard, dear. Run away to sea. Do whatever you can, my flower, but don't ask me.
So good. Thank you, sweetie. Oh, I believe we have Elle.
Somebody.
Hi, Elle.
Hey.
So if anybody does have links to the poems that they're going to read, if you could drop them into the chat for Elle, that would be lovely. Bina, would you fancy doing a one next?
I will go with one of the Lisberry ones. I'm just seeing if I can find it, but it's called Miss Berry. But I think she might be a teacher in her real, full-time life.
That's cool.
And I'm just seeing whether Google can cope with that as the title of the poem and not just give me generic Lisberry things. But it has, so that's fine.
Excellent.
So we're sticking with the teacher voice. It's not quite as adorable as you just have to prepare yourself. Miss Berry, I have learnt to write rows of O's, bobbing, hopeful as hot air balloons from lines' tethers, and watched 8 springs of frog spawn, grow legs but never, and conducted clashy-bashy orchestras of chime bars, ocarina, thundering timbre, and curled my hand over another hand to hinge the crocodile jaw of the scissors. I have accompanied a small mourning party to a blackbird's burial plot, and rolled countless bodies like coloured marbles across gym mats, and conducted science's great experiments using darkened cupboards, plastic cups, and cress. And unhooked a high window on a stuffy day and heard the room's breath. I have measured time by paper snowflakes, blown eggs, bereft cocoons, and waved goodbye in summer so many times that even in September my heart is in June.
Bina, so I'm gonna have to get my face around some Liz Berry. Is there a collection that you would particularly recommend?
I mean, there's only 1.5 collections, so yes. Like, there's Black Country, which is still only this big, and then there's the Republic of Motherhood, which is like a pamphlet of collections of poems. So, like, get both.
I think I might have to. No, I'm just gonna have to. It's got to be done. Thank you very much. That was beautiful. Now, Ainsley, would you fancy doing your one?
Links. Luckily, it's right on the front page of the poet's website.
Handy.
So this is called What You Missed the Day You Were Absent from 4th Grade by Brad Aaron Maudlin. Miss Nelson explained how to stand still and listen to the wind, and how to find meaning in pumping gas. How peeling potatoes can be a form of prayer. She took questions on how not to feel lost in the dark. After lunch, she distributed worksheets that covered the ways to remember your grandfather's voice. Then the class discussed falling asleep without feeling that you had forgotten to do something else, something important, and how to believe the house you wake up in is your home. This prompted Miss Nelson to draw a chalkboard diagram detailing how to chant the Psalms during cigarette breaks, and how not to squirm for sound when your own thoughts are all you hear. Also, that you have enough. The English lesson was, I am, is a complete sentence. And just before the afternoon bell, she made the math equation look easy. The one that proves that hundreds of questions and feeling cold and all those nights spent looking for whatever it was you lost and one person add up to something.
I really, really love that.
Me too.
Really, really love that. I'm adding that to my collection immediately. Thank you so much, Ainsley. I have another one, which this time is from the perspective of someone who is learning rather than about the teacher. So this is called Learning Italian Slowly by David Shoemate or Shoemate. Can't tell. I hope it's Shoemate because
The friend of shoes.
friend of shoes. So let's say that this is Learning Italian Slowly by David Shoemate. I learn 3 words each day. It's been 7 months now, and perhaps I could carry on a conversation with a Sicilian child if she spoke slowly, in present tense, and only about pencils and dogs and cheese. Sometimes I feel my new Italian self growing inside me. He's a little man who gesticulates as he speaks. He rides his bicycle to the market to buy eggplant, anise, and porcini, then delivers them to his elderly mother. In the afternoon, he plays bocce with the older men. The children mimic the way he whispers to himself, the grimaces he makes with his face. When the moon comes out, he slicks back his hair and sings beneath the window of the woman he loves. What a sight he is. Down on one knee, his arms outstretched, so willing to make a fool of himself, over and over again.
Oh, that's
I love that, and it's so relatable.
I think that is so nice. Let's go around again. Mike, would you fancy doing your other one?
Yeah, sure. I'll just find it. So this one is by Shel Silverstein. Oh, and it's called Sick. Not as in sick, it's as in sick. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry, I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. Oh, and there's one more, that's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hips hurt when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back is wrenched, my ankle's sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold, my toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbow's bent, my spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear. There's a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is... What? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Oh, goodbye, I'm off out to play.
Very cute. Very cute.
All the excuses.
Thank you so much, sweetie. Andrade, you said you've got one.
Yep. Found it just earlier. Hold on, I'm just trying to get the link because it was on my phone.
No problem.
So maybe have someone read something until I sort the tech stuff.
Mm-hmm. Bina, would you feel like doing another one?
Maybe The Teachers by Liz Lockhead. Oh, I'm getting my own voice back. I don't know why.
Is that in Andrade, or is that you? Is there some sort of echo going on?
Not sure. Maybe? It's gone anyway.
Okay, cool.
And then, because our poetry collections are merging, there's a tiny Naomi Shihab Nye one that fits after this, although it's not technically to do with.
I think I know which one it is.
Yeah. Right. The Teachers. They taught that what you wrote in ink carried more weight than what you wrote in pencil and could not be rubbed out. Punctuation was difficult. Wars were bad, but sometimes necessary in the face of absolute evil, as they knew only too well. Miss Prentice wore her poppy the whole month of November. Miss Matheson hit the loud pedal on the piano and made us sing The Flowers of the Forest. Miss Ferguson deplored the Chinese custom of foot binding, but extolled the ingenuity and a parasol.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, Bina. I don't know if anyone else lost you, but I lost you. I heard extolled the ingenuity, and then you froze. Would you be able to go back to that line?
Miss Ferguson deplored the Chinese custom of foot binding, but extolled the ingenuity of terracing the paddy fields. Someone she'd once known had given her a kimono and a parasol. Miss Prentice said the empire had enlightened people and been a two-way thing. The Dutch grew bulbs and were our allies in wooden shoes. We grew bulbs on the windowsills, beside the frog spawn that quickened into wriggling commas or stayed full stop. Some people in our class were stupid, full stop. The leather tawse was coiled around the sweetie tin in the desk beside the box of coloured blackboard chalk Miss Ferguson never used. Miss Prentice wore utility smocks. Miss Matheson had a moustache. If your four-needled knitting got no further than the heel you couldn't turn, then she'd keep you at your helios sewing till its wobbling cross-stitch was specked with rusty blood. Spelling hard words was easy when you knew how. And then just a tiny one called Always Bring a Pencil. There will not be a test. It does not have to be a number 2 pencil. But there will be certain things, the quiet flush of waves, ripe scent of fish, smooth ripple of the wind's second name, that prefer to be written about in pencil. It gives them more room to move around.
I don't love that one.
Yeah.
And it's actually not the one that I was thinking of. So I might very quickly do my tiny, tiny Naomi Shihab sentence. So I put that.
And sorry, Elle, I couldn't find the Liz Lockhead one online.
I've put the link to that in the chat. This is Please Describe How You Became a Writer by Naomi Shihab Nye. Possibly I began writing as a refuge from our insulting first grade textbook. Come, Jane, come. Look, Dick, look. Were there ever duller people in the world? You had to tell them to look at things? Why weren't they looking to begin with? That's next. So, Andrada, have you found yours?
Yep.
And I think potentially Andrada's is echoing, but when we are all muted and only Andrada's muted, that will be fine.
I can do the echo thing. Oh, it moved. Right, so this is golf. It has that O-U-G-H sound that is different in every single word. A million billion willion miles from home, waiting for the bell to go. To go where? Why are they all so big, other children? So noisy? So much at home they must have been born in uniform, lived all their lives in playgrounds, spent the years inventing games that don't let me in. Games that are rough, that swallow you up. And the railings, all around the railings. Are they to keep out wolves and monsters? Things that carry off and eat children? Things you don't take sweets from? Perhaps they're to stop us getting out, running away from lesson look like. Sounds small and slimy. They keep them in the glass rooms. Whole rooms made out of glass. Imagine. I wish I could remember my name. Mummy said it would come in useful. Like wellies when there's puddles. Yellow wellies. I wish she was here. I think my name is sewn on somewhere. Perhaps the teacher will read it for me. Teacher. The one who makes the tea.
So cute.
It really reminded me of, were you here when I read the Sophie stories for like a standalone
Yes.
when Frankie was away? And there's Sophie preparing to go to school, and she's got a list of things she thinks will be good about school and things she thinks will be terrible about school. But it's like very similar in its misunderstanding of how school works.
That is really sweet.
Yeah. I must point out that lesson was spelled Lessin, which kind of contributed to my slight confusion going, lesson?
Is that not how you spell lesson?
Word.
Lesson. Thank you very much, Ajade. I have another one, which is my last one that I have. It's quite a long one. It's not as cute. It's a little bit sad, but kind of like also lovely. And I'll just drop it in the chat now. So this is called "Thanking My Mother for Piano Lessons" by Diane Wachowski.
Frankie, we can't. You've suddenly just gone really quiet.
Oh no. Am I still quiet? Can you hear me now? Oh. Can you still hear me? What is happening? Okay. Let's take this from the top. So, this is "Thanking My Mother for Piano Lessons" by Diane Wachowski. The relief of putting your fingers on the keyboard, as if you were walking on the beach and found a diamond as big as a shoe, as if you had just built a wooden table and the smell of sawdust was in the air, your hands dry and woody, as if you had eluded the man in the dark hat who had been following you all week. The relief of putting your fingers on the keyboard, playing the chords of Beethoven, Bach, Chopin, in an afternoon when I had no one to talk to, when the magazine advertisement forms of soft sweaters and clean, shining Republican middle-class hair walked into carpeted houses and left me alone with bare floors and a few books. I want to thank my mother for working every day in a drab office, in garages and water companies, cutting the cream out of her coffee at 40 to lose weight, her heavy body writing its delicate bookkeeper's ledgers alone, with no man to look at her face, her body, her prematurely white hair, in love. I want to thank my mother for working and always paying for my piano lessons before she paid the Bank of America loan, or bought the groceries, or had our old rattling Ford repaired. I was a quiet child, afraid of walking into a store alone, afraid of the water, the sun, the dirty weeds in backyards, afraid of my mother's bad breath, and afraid of my father's occasional visits home, knowing he would leave again. Afraid of not having any money, afraid of my clumsy body that I knew no one would ever love. But I played my way on the old upright piano obtained for $10, played my way through fear, through ugliness, through growing up in a world of dime store purchases and a desire to love a loveless world. I played my way through an ugly face and lonely afternoons, days, evenings, nights, mornings even, empty as a rusty coffee can, played my way through the rustles of spring and wanted everything around me to shimmer like the narrow tide on a flat beach at sunset in Southern California. I played my way through an empty father's hat in my mother's closet and a bed she slept on only one side of, never wrinkling an inch of the other side, waiting. I played my way through honors in school, the only place I could talk, the classroom, or at my piano lessons. Mrs. Hillhouse's canary always singing the most for my talents, as if I had thrown some part of my body away upon entering her house, and was now searching every ivory case of the keyboard, slipping my fingers over black ridges and around smooth rocks, wondering where I had lost my bloody organs, or my mouth which sometimes opened like a California poppy, wide and with contrasts beautiful in sweeping fields, entirely closed morning and night. I played my way from age to age, but they all seemed ageless, or perhaps always old and lonely, wanting only one thing. Surrounded by the dusty, bitter-smelling leaves of orange trees, wanting only to be touched by a man who loved me, who would be there every night to put his large, strong hand over my shoulder, whose hips I would wake up against in the morning, whose moustaches might brush a face asleep, dreaming of pianos that made the sound of Mozart and Schubert without demanding that life suck everything out of you each day, without demanding the emptiness of a timid little life. I want to thank my mother for letting me wake her up sometimes at 6 in the morning when I practiced my lessons, and for making sure I had a piano to lay my school books down on every afternoon. I haven't touched the piano in 10 years, perhaps in fear that what little love I've been able to pick like lint out of the corners of pockets will get lost, slide away into the terribly empty cavern of me if I ever open it all the way up again. Love is a man with a moustache, gently holding me every night, always being there when I need to touch him. He could not know the painfully loud music from the past that his loving stops from pounding, banging, battering through my brain, which does its best to destroy the precarious grey matter when I am alone. He does not hear Mrs. Hillhouse's canary singing for me, liking the sound of my lesson this week, telling me, confirming what my teacher says, that I have a gift for the piano few of her other pupils had. When I touch the man I love, I want to thank my mother for giving me piano lessons all those years, keeping the memory of Beethoven, a deaf, tortured man, in mind, of the beauty that can come from even an ugly past.
Oh, thank you for that, Frankie. That was lovely.
Isn't it? Whoa. Yes.
So I've just seen that M isn't going to make it along, but has sent a poem.
Ooh, fantastic.
Someone would like to read it. I've just shared it in the chat.
Exciting. Oh, this looks lovely. Anybody fancy it?
Ooh, it'd be a blind read if I did it.
I mean, I'm very...
Is that Elle volunteering?
Elle, are you volunteering? It would be wonderful to hear you read. Yeah, thank you, Elle. No problem. Well, oh no, I was going to say I do have one, but it's a Roald Dahl one, and it's a bit sort of kind of mean-spirited in a Roald Dahlish way, which in between, you know, my kind of nice poignant one and this nice poignant one would, I think, be too much of a tonal shift. Does anybody have a kind of vaguely nice poem that they would like to do now, to vamp away? Or shall I just go ahead with the Roald Dahl one?
You can do the other Liz Berry one if you like.
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please, Nina.
Which is the patron saint of schoolgirls, which I also can't find online anywhere. So, the patron saint of schoolgirls. Agnes had her lamb and her black curls. Bernadette, her nun's frock. But I was just a schoolgirl, glimpsed the Holy Spirit in the blue flare of a Bunsen burner, saw a skeleton weep in a biology lesson. My miracles were revelations. I saved 17 girls from a fire that rose like a serpent behind the bike sheds, cured the scoliosis of a teacher, who hadn't lifted her head to sing a hymn in years. I fed the dinner hall on one small cake and a carton of milk. A cult developed. The head girl kissed my cheek in the dark room. First years wrote my name on the flyleaf of their hymn books. Letters appeared in my school bag, a bracelet woven from a blonde plait. My faith grew strong. At night I lay awake hearing prayers from girls as far as Leeds and Oxford, comprehensives in Nottingham. I granted supplications for A-levels, pleas for the cooling of unrequited love, led a sixth form in Glasgow to unforeseen triumph in the Hockey Cup final. Love flowed out of me like honey from a hive. I was sweet with holiness, riding home on the school bus, imparting my blessings. I was ready for wings, to be lifted upwards like sun streaming through the top deck windows, to wave goodbye to the school and disappear in an astonishing ring of brightness.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bina. So, let's see if Elle is ready.
That's the link again, because if you leave, you lose all of the chat.
Fabulous.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Elle, are you ready?
Yeah. Sorry, I was embarrassingly I was in bed.
No problem.
I was awake for like 24 hours. Yeah. Can you send me
Wow. Okay. Your hair looks cool, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really suits you.
I could hide my face, but I don't want to see. No. I still don't see the link. Can someone post it?
I think it's posted in the chat.
It's like a real life version of hide self view in Zoom. Do that with your hair.
Yes. So first day of school, right?
Yes.
So I've never read this, but I assume that's the whole point. I'll just read it. September, the first day of school. My child and I hold hands on the way to school, and when I leave him at the first grade door, he cries a little, but is brave. He does let go. My selfish tears remind me how I cried before that door a life ago. I may have had a hard time letting go. Each fall the children must endure together what every child also endures alone, learning the alphabet, the integers, 3 dozen bits and pieces of a stuff so arbitrary, so peremptory, that worlds invisible and visible bow down before it as in Joseph's dream. The sheaves bowed down and then the stars bowed down before the dreaming of a little boy. That dream got him such hatred of his brothers as cost the greater part of life to mend, and yet great kindness came of it in the end. A school is where they grind the grain of thought and grind the children who must mind the thought. It may be those two grindings are but one, as from the alphabet comes Shakespeare's plays, as from integers comes Euler's law, as from the whole inseparably the lives, the shrunken lives that have not been set free by law or by poetic fantasy. But may they be. My child has disappeared behind the schoolroom door, and should I live to see his coming forth a life away, I know my hope, but do not know its form, nor hope to know it. May the fathers he finds among his teachers have a care for him more than his father could. How that will look, I do not know. I do not need to know. Even our tears belong to ritual, but may great kindness come of it in the end.
God.
Beautifully read as well.
Beautifully read. Thank you so much, Elle, and thank you if you read this back if you listen to this back at any point. That was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's just as I'm reading, because I've not read it before, I'm like, it just kind of hits me a little bit. I was like, what? It's good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that was so beautiful.
That was really, really beautiful. Oh my god. I mean, unless anybody else has any kind of pressing desires, ones that they would particularly like to do, I feel like that might be a lovely one to draw to the close on. How do we feel about that? So, bang, 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 bang.
Gavel, gavel, gavel.
I hereby officially draw this meeting of Poetry Saturday to a close. Thank you all so much for coming, and thank you those who contributed in absentia. We miss you. And next week we have M is hosting, and they are hosting one with the theme of feelings. So see how that strikes you. I will be in Edinburgh, so I may drop in or I may not. If I don't, then I will maybe send a couple of contributions across to see if anybody fancies reading them. But if all else fails, I will see you all very soon. And hold on, I'll stop the recording first, and then I'll say goodbye. Do we say hello to the catch-up crew on Poetry Time? Is that a thing that we do? Is that a thing that we shall do? Should we do it? Robert's like, nah, fuck the catch-up crew.
They should join us. Why aren't they here?
Okay. Well, it's because I have now discovered how to splice the speaker view and the gallery view together, so that on waves to the catch-up crew, I can make it so that we can show everybody waving. So I get very excited. So let's wave to the catch-up crew.
Hi, catch-up crew.
Hi, catch-up crew. We love you.